The Schubert Center for Child Studies, that's housed in the College of Arts and Sciences, is very gratified to be partnering with so many exceptional individuals and institutions that you'll be hearing more about from some of our other speakers, in particular the Mandel School of Applied Social Sciences, the Cuyahoga County Division of Children and Family Services, Karamu House, and many other fine agencies and individuals who are doing so much for the welfare of our children. We also have with us tonight our Dean in the College of Arts and Sciences, Cyrus Taylor, who we thought was going to be out of town, but he's been able to join us, so we thank him also for coming. So what all of us share is this desire really to work together and to try and do something, take some steps for the well-being of children and youth in our community. And so before I introduce the president of our university, I'd also like to thank the staff of the Schubert Center who are probably outside staffing and making sure everything runs smoothly. But Sarah Robinson, our assistant director, and Gabriella Celeste, who's our director of child policy, and I do thank you very much for coming and thank our student volunteers. So today it really is my very special privilege to introduce the president of Case Western Reserve University, Barbara Snyder. President Snyder has been a staunch supporter of the Schubert Center and to the work across the Case Western Reserve University campus to address the needs of children in our community. We're grateful for our president's leadership and concern for the community, and tonight in particular for her long-lasting and enduring concern for the children in our community. And so with that, I welcome President Snyder to say a few remarks.
Thank you. It is really great to be here today. I do want to also say a thank you. I'm glad, Jill, that you recognize the staff because these events don't put on themselves. It takes a lot of work and it also takes leadership. So I thank you for pulling this all together, and we are grateful for your leadership of the Schubert Center every day, but also for bringing this special event to our campus. It's great. Thank you. And I also want to recognize a special guest who is with us tonight, Cuyahoga County Juvenile Court Judge Kristen Sweeney. Judge Sweeney, can you stand up? Thank you. We know how much is on your plate, so we're really grateful that you would take the time to engage with us in such an important conversation. It really is inspiring to see so many people here to experience Karamu's performance of Sometimes Hope is Enough, and to stay afterwards to discuss the issue at its core, which of course is foster care. In a column from a few years back, former Plain Dealer columnist Connie Schultz, a Pulitzer Prize winner, summarized the plight of children aging out of foster care when she wrote, "When you are a foster child and you turn 18, it's as if the clock strikes midnight and everything you counted on disappears. There is no fairy godmother to change you into an adult ready to take on the world. Snap open another garbage bag, cram it full of everything you own, and walk out the door." What a commentary on the way things work sometimes and the way they shouldn't work. So as of this month, we have in Cuyahoga County about 1,900 children in the custody of the Department of Children and Family Services and in the custody of the county. That's about 3 children for every seat in this auditorium. I am delighted to know that all of you are here because I know that all of you in this room are working very hard to help children and their families by providing direct services, by being advocates, by giving volunteer hours, by giving philanthropy, by providing research, and in some of your cases, you're doing all of the above. At Case Western Reserve Schubert Center for Child Studies, we have assembled, or I should say Professor Corbin has assembled, an interdisciplinary team of faculty conducting research that shapes the way services are delivered and policies, I might need those, policies are crafted, thereby improving the lives of children in our community. The center is a member of the university-based Child and Family Policy Consortium, which is a group of 33 colleges and universities collaborating to share research, to advocate for the best policies, and to train the next generation of advocates in the field. Partners include Harvard and Yale and other top universities in our country. We're proud to be a part of that group and to be sharing our work with them and having their work shared with us. I think that the discussion tonight will cover challenges that place families and children in peril, issues like poverty and joblessness and addiction and mental illness. But I also expect some dialogue about solutions, because after all, that's why we're here. Each and every success story provides some lessons learned, and there is such great hope for the children in our community, and of course it's our responsibility to make sure that we deliver on that promise. So thank you to all of you for your efforts, your passion, and your engagement. It is critical to our community, and I am so delighted to be here tonight to welcome you to this very important event. Thank you very much. Now I have the great pleasure of introducing one of the leaders of our new county government. We are so excited about the things going on in Cuyahoga County, the changes that are taking place, really literally the transformation that is being brought about under the leadership of our new county executive, Ed Fitzgerald. And he couldn't have picked a better person to represent him today, and that person is Matt Carroll. Matt, of course, comes from a background of working many years in public health, and we are delighted to have his wisdom and expertise and his concern for the issues that affect children and families in Cuyahoga County. With that, I turn it over to Matt Carroll.
Thank you very much, President Snyder. And I was going to say this anyway, but it really is not an exaggeration to say that President Snyder is one of the best presidents at one of the best universities in the country. It's really the truth. I think we give her another round of applause. What she brings to our community as a partner, and obviously well beyond what the university does, is significant, maybe is not well known to people, but we really appreciate her partnership. I just want to speak briefly about other examples of partnership that the county government has had with Case Western Reserve University. The President mentioned my public health background. Can't even name the number of partnerships and important contributions that the School of Medicine and MSAS and other facets of the university contributed to the work that we were doing in public health. Today, with our work in child welfare at the county, we partnered with MSAS in a number of areas. We heard about Professor Crampton earlier and Professor Canary related to the Child Welfare Practice and Improvement Panel. That's an extremely important roadmap for doing better work in child welfare. Wanted to mention too, one of our important partners is the Forever Families Adoption Opportunity Grant. MSAS has been a key contributor to that effort to make sure that we are measuring ourselves and doing the best possible job. In addition, recently the school sought and also received a grant that supports our middle managers to be better trained, to get their master's in social work degrees, and that makes a huge difference. The last point I was really going to make, and the President touched on this as well, but what our Division of Children and Family Services does, it's such an enormous task, an enormous responsibility. Ed Fitzgerald has said many times it's the hardest job in county government, possibly the hardest job in the whole community. It's a $140 million budget, which is larger than most cities in our community. We had 38,000 referrals last year by phone. That's 10,000 more than Franklin County, which is a county of similar size. And you know, the number of youth in permanent custody of the organization and the ongoing efforts we make, it's always a challenge. I think with our new director, Pat Rideout, she has the skills and the energy and the will to try to make things better. And Ed Fitzgerald has committed very strongly to using our funds as wisely as possible and make sure we're having outcomes. The note I've been given here that 16 teenagers on average age out of the system, that is leave our custody without reunification. That's every month that happens. And what Ed has said is, what can we do to really change those outcomes, to improve those results? And that's really what we're strongly committed to do. My last task here, and I'm thrilled to do this too, as a former community theater person myself, want to introduce the play by the playwright Michael Oatman, a very impressive guy I got to meet a while ago. It's from Karamu's reality theater program. Now, one thing I'd like to point out, the word reality has gotten a bad name in our television world, but I expect actual reality from this performance. I will not be surprised by that. After the show, of course, we'll have a panel of experts who will be able to speak to issues of the day and answer questions. And we hope that they will inspire you to act, not only to be educated, but also to act. So at this point, again, I apologize for not being able to stay for it, but I'd like to ask you to sit back and enjoy the production. It's an original production. It's called Sometimes Hope is Enough. Thank you.
I don't know how to describe him. You know, he was a strong type dude. He wasn't really like other people, if you want me to be honest about it. He wasn't big, but he was strong. I remember this one time we was wrestling, he damn near broke my arm. It was funny too, man. Real funny. He used to have us going. I swear he should have been on somebody's stage somewhere. I know what you think. What the papers say about him? He wasn't a bad dude. He was just living life. Trying to make it to Tuesday like everybody else. So they didn't know him. They didn't really know him. So I don't care what they say. Yeah, he did some things, but when you come up the way we came up, it's hard living and not getting no dirt on you. My mother had 5 kids. 5 kids by 4 different daddies. And all of us got fed into the foster care system. We got fed in and we scattered like blunt smoke. I remember all these people came and got us. Like we were supposed to be somebody else. Like we were supposed to be somewhere else. Apparently somebody called and said she wasn't feeding us. They said we was dirty. But like I said, you don't come up the way we came up and not get no dirt on you. Thunder was the oldest. More like a father figure. He aged out the system a few years ago. And I aged out this year. Me and James was probably the closest. We had the same dad. I mean, we bounced around from time to time in a couple foster homes together, but Marcus, we barely see Marcus. He got adopted by some white family out in Solon. And Dee Shanae, barely even know who she is. I've done some things. I wasn't always the brother I should have been. I was wrong as 2 left shoes. I know that now. I know what it is I gotta do. I just can't take it. Man, I'm about to pass out. Hey, yo, Daquan. Yeah. You all right? Not really.
You talking to these walls again?
Man, no.
Man, who you talking to?
Nobody. Man, it is hot as sin in here.
No, man.
I ain't even just talking regular hot, man. I'm talking Alabama hot. I'm talking 20 black dudes riding in a Civic hot. Melt your face off hot? Man, did you see Big Baby in there? That big roly-poly dude was sweating. James. It's sweat. I get it, man. It's hot. Man, I think the air broke. I hate funerals, man.
Me too.
So what we waiting on anyway, huh? What's taking so long?
It's the rain.
The rain.
Yeah, man. They're waiting on the rain to slow down before we go to the cemetery.
These Negroes scared of a little rain.
Man, have you looked out there? Most scared like running into something more like it.
Damn! It's really coming down.
I hear some of the streets overflowing.
It's like something out of the Bible. Hey, yo, maybe God angry, huh?
Man, God been angry at this family since we was born. I see Redding came.
Oh, yeah, only white face in the room. You knew Coach was gonna be here.
So when you going down for your visit?
Coach said he'll take me down there for break, get my housing situation all hooked up.
You staying with me when you come home?
In Gutter Central? No. Look, man, you know I get into something every time I come around that way. Thanks, but Coach said I can stay with him when I come home for breaks.
Cool.
Man, just because it's raining don't mean they can't turn on the air or something. It's stuffy in here.
Hey, bruh, you see them windows? They do open.
Windows, open. Right. Oh, that's better. So how you been?
I'm good, man.
And your neck?
I mean, I get a little stiff sometime and it throbs at night, but the bullet just grazed me for real.
Just glad you're still with us, man. I mean, losing Thunder was bad enough. I'm just glad you're still alive.
Your black ass would have been at my house before my body got cold to get my PlayStation, dude. Come on.
Did you know this?
Hey, that's a nice shirt.
Oh, thanks, man.
Where you steal it from?
Man, I ain't steal this from nobody. My group home manager got it for me, okay? Coach bought me a tie.
Did it come out your clothing allowance?
It better not have. It ain't that good a shirt. Hey, big brother, can I ask you something?
Yeah, man.
Why'd y'all come and get me that night?
What you mean?
That night? Come on, man. Since when y'all roll on something like that and don't come get me?
Man, I figured you was studying for the SATs, dude. You need at least a 750 if you going to Old State in the fall. Figured that's what you was doing.
Man, football or no football, man. Family is family and blood is blood. I'm still down.
Man, I know that. You got at least 5 scholarships on the table and you ready to throw it all away for a dummy mission in the project?
Now you sounding like Coach.
You damn right I do. This ain't what you need to be doing. You got real paper to chase. Man, go to school. Get in the NFL, man, so I can hit your ass up for some real money. These streets ain't for you. Never really was, man. As bad as you count?
What?
You came up short every time.
Whoa, man, I had my money.
James, man. I know you down. And I know if I called you, you'd be right there. That's enough for me, man. Keep your head in them books. I'll hold down the streets.
I guess. Hey, you know, instead of Old State, I was kind of thinking about going to Michigan. What you think about that? Big, blue, red crew.
Man, I'll knock you the hell out, man. Get out of here with that.
Now, what you thought even doing down in the valley, man? What happened that night?
Man, things went bad.
What you mean by that?
Folks we trusted didn't do right by us.
Not saying anything.
Man, I don't want to talk about it. We could talk about it later.
All right, cool. How you know Marcus is here? He was like sitting in the back. Man, I seen him. Come on, man. Y'all know they need to squash that, right? Family is family, man. Family, baby boy. Family. I got all my brothers with me.
I got adopted early, so my memories of him are kind of foggy. But you see, I don't remember him as violent or knocking cats out. And I don't remember him as thunder. See, I remember Devontae. You know, I've heard about what he became, but you see, that's not what I remember. I remember when I was maybe 5 or 6, and I was watching my brothers play basketball up at this park. Cumberland, I think it was. Yeah, and they were playing these guys from Cleveland Heights. I do remember that. And I was on the other end playing. Well, one of the older guys goes up for a rebound, and of course I was underfoot where I shouldn't be, and they come down on me full force. I went down hard and I felt this sharp pain in my leg, and I had broken my leg. But you see, Devontae, he came over to me. And at that time, he had to be like a kid, but to me, it was like he was already a man. He said,
Mark, it's gonna be all right, man. You're gonna be okay.
I got instantly quiet. You know, he picked me up and he carried me all the way to the hospital. Waited until our foster mother got there. See, that's what I remember. I remember when I left, when I got adopted. He hugged me and he rubbed my head. He said,
You're gonna be all right, man. Don't be scared.
"Don't be scared." That's what I remember.
Glad you could make it, Marcus.
You knew I was going to be here.
Man, I'm burying my brother today. What I know and don't know, it's pretty shaky lately.
Look, man, how you doing?
Just a scratch.
A scratch that put you in intensive care for a week?
How would you know?
I had my mom call to see how you were doing.
Oh, but you couldn't call to talk to me yourself.
I didn't quite know what to say. I mean, the last time we talked, it wasn't good.
Man, you still could have called. We family. I see they got you talking like a white boy.
I grew up in Solon. Who am I supposed to sound like, Snoop Dogg?
I'm just saying.
You heard from Mom?
You know Joanne. Always out here in the streets getting it in. Last I heard, she was living in the flop house off Central. I don't even know where she at now.
You think she knows?
Man, I don't even know if she alive, let alone what she know and don't know.
What about Dejanay?
Your guess is as good as mine. Seen her a few years back at Walmart. She was staying with a family out in Euclid. I mean, she called a couple times, but she probably got removed. She probably got Joanne temper. Oh, but you wouldn't remember that, would you?
And in this corner, we've got the thug who took a slug versus the token from Hoboken. Let's get ready to rumble! Reunited! Ow! The League of Extraordinary Negroes, the Anderson Boys, ride again. What's good, Marcus?
Hey, James, how you doing?
I'm good, boy. Look at you, looking like you got good credits.
Hey, congratulations on Ohio State.
You heard? Da-da-da. Gotta show them how we do it around these parts. What's up with you in white boy land?
I'm cool doing me.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll be graduating high school in a year.
That's right. I forgot you was a year behind me.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Cool.
So what we doing?
I'm just waiting for this rain to let up so we can lay my mans down.
It was a nice service.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. Devontae would have liked it, I think.
Man, it's too long.
Devontae would have liked it, I think.
And how would you know that?
Come on, you two. Would y'all ease up with this whole Cain and Abel routine? Gosh. But I agree with Daquan. Thunder would have been asleep. That boy had the attention span of a crackhead on speed.
No, it was kind of cool. Well, you know, all those people saying all those nice things about him.
Yeah. Man, it was boo-boo.
Why?
Man, all the people getting up there talking like they knew him, they didn't know him. They was all hypocrites. Ministers and teachers. They even let Shatir get up there. Did you see that, man?
She's pregnant with his baby out here.
You hear? You see that girl's belly? She about to pop. But I wouldn't even take a long car ride with that girl at this point.
Dude, the way she give it up, anybody could be the father.
You know what I'm saying?
She ain't like that.
They all like that.
Chris Brown over here got the women issues, man. All right? You know, but the girl, she loved him.
She loved his money. Getting up there crying, acting all phony. Man, I should have slapped her in her mouth.
Yeah, let's slap a girl who's 9 months pregnant at a funeral. You know, while you at it, just set the whole building on fire. Let it go, man.
No, she was his girl.
She was a setting. They was barely speaking. They broke up.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Hey, life don't stop moving because you leave. Just keep going and going.
Man, you know how the two of them was, man. They had to fight every other day, off and on, hot and cold. It don't mean nothing.
No, she got his baby in her belly.
Man, getting up there, crying like she didn't know what it was. Like that man, they put a bill in her pocket every week. Facts. Getting up there with all that phony stuff. He was gonna be a doctor. He had dreams. Come on, dude.
It was his funeral. I mean, what was she supposed to say?
I don't know. I wish somebody would have kept it 100. T-Money was a born hustler. A hustler in his soul. I know that, you know that, and everybody sitting out there in that room know that. This one just like somebody picked his name out of a phone book. He knew what it was. He was a monster out here in this.
He was more than that.
What you mean, more than me?
No, that's not what he said.
That's not what I said.
I know what he said.
You know, I ain't about to play referee, man.
I was just saying. Devontae wasn't born nothing. That's just what he became. That's where he ended. It's not like it was some birthright or something. This hood crap is nonsense. We need to let it go. We, as a people.
Yo, check out Malcolm X over here.
Oh, you mean me?
Are there any other drug dealers in the room?
Hey, left hook, man.
Hey, look, don't come in here like you Mr. Ivy Squeaky Clean telling me how to live my life. I don't know how I go down in Solon, but in the mean streets of East Cleveland, it get a lot rougher than bake sales and soccer leagues.
I know. I haven't forgotten.
Oh, you gotta.
Oh yeah, and them white parents of yours don't make you white, Tiger Woods. Cause soon as you ride through Parma with that white accent of yours, you'll find out real quick, you still black. That don't wash off.
That's just an excuse for making bad decisions. James lives here.
You right. He does. Hey, but look, you want to ask James how he got that pretty little truck out there? Hey, here's a hint. It didn't come from no foster care system.
James!
I dabbled a little minute. Come on, man, I don't do that no more. I know if I get caught dirty, all them scholarships go away.
James!
Don't James me. Oh, man, I already got the speech from Thunder and, you know, my coach. I don't do that no more.
Yeah. Thunder damn near broke his neck when he found out.
Yeah.
He quit right then and there.
Thunder?
Yeah. That man took that scholarship thing serious.
He didn't even want me around it anymore.
Made me promise not to get him into nothing.
Yeah, man, why the change?
Man, with Thunder, never really knew what was going on in that man's mind. And Mr. Advice over here, where you been at?
Oh. Well, you know, my parents,
Man,
they don't
we ain't
really...
trying to hear that. You still could have called and stopped by from time to time.
We family.
Blood.
I mean, things change.
No, things don't change, people change.
Well, I'm here now.
And it's good to see you, okay? Just wish Thunder is here, so. Just take a seat, relax, man. Wow.
So, what happened?
Man, you read the papers.
Yeah, but they didn't tell me much.
Man, our big brother got killed. Other than that, what else matters?
Hey, yo, I liked your speech about him, by the way. Sounded like Barack Obama was on deck, you know?
2 years of speech team, 1 year debate club.
What's up?
You know, since it happened, I've been trying to remember him. Well, you know how he was.
Too much remembering? Drive a man crazy, you know?
Yeah.
Man, is you okay?
No, not really.
Man, pull it together. Don't be in here crying like no broad.
Leave him alone.
Y'all both need to man up. Y'all can't be letting this get to y'all head, man.
Okay, Iron Man.
I'm just saying. The game don't love nobody. It is the way it is.
I don't even know what that means.
It means we all got a bus, a bullet, or a heart attack with our name on it. That's just how it works.
That don't mean we gotta lay down on the train tracks.
Man, when a man calls, you go.
This wasn't an act of God. Thunder wasn't struck by lightning or blown away by some tornado.
I'm just saying. You never know when it's your time.
Ooh, you sound like a fortune cookie.
When I got to him, he was already dead. He died before he even hit the sidewalk. That's something, man.
The gangster code.
Man, it is what it is. I'm a hustler to the dirt.
Does that help you?
What you mean?
Talking like that. Like you're some gangster. Does that help you?
And sitting around moping like a chick ain't gonna bring him back. You barely spoke to the man since you was 5 years old. I've seen him every day. Every damn day. So don't you sit here and tell me how to mourn. He was more than a picture in a wallet to me.
He was my brother too. I'm so sick of your crap.
Really, Sweet Pea? What you gonna do? Write me a poem?
Get out my face, mate.
Well, the two of you have a kiss and give it a rest.
Get out my face,
Said, man,
Get out my face.
Hey, man, what are y'all doing? Yo, stop, man. Chill.
What was that in your pocket?
My pocket, my business.
Man, is you strapped?
What was it?
It's like American Express, homie. Never leave home without it.
Are you out of your damn
You
mind?
can't bring a gun in here.
Obviously, since it's tucked in my pocket, I can't.
Why would you?
You wouldn't understand.
What does that mean?
Where does it all end? First some random fool kills
Man, there was
Devontae.
nothing random about
What you say, you know who killed him?
it. I do. And then they're sitting in that room,
What the hell are you talking about?
sitting in there with everybody else, like butter don't melt in their mouth, sitting there crying in the morning. Yeah. So you see, I need this gun. This ain't some prop. This ain't something I carry to make me feel better.
Yo, what the hell, man?
Man, it happened so fast. As soon as we got out the car, they was on us like they knew we was gonna be there. Thunder always had money with him, but we just picked up from them Valley dudes. First bullet hit me. The shot slammed me in the back of the car. Thunder tried to reach for his gun, but before he get it past his waist, they shot him. He was gone. Blood started gushing out my neck. My eyes started to get hazy, but I seen him. Clear as I'm seeing the both of y'all. It was Trill. Saw his face, and Big Baby was with him.
And it's the first time you tell me this?
Man, I'm telling you now.
You don't tell me this?
Yes.
Man, Trill and Big Baby been his boys since forever.
Like I said, people change.
That big guy who spoke.
Yeah, that big guy who spoke.
Yo, all right, so what's the play? How we doing this?
We ain't doing a damn thing. This is on me.
Wait, no, he was my brother too.
I said no.
Are you two out of your minds? We have to go to the police and let
For
them handle
what?
it.
You think the cops don't care about a couple dead black dudes?
Man,
Please.
no cops.
So what's the plan? You just gonna go in there and start shooting?
No, not here. But all business will get
This
finished.
ain't a
today.
Godfather movie, man. This is your life.
Yeah, I want in.
I said no. I will break your damn
Man,
neck.
you don't get to say who can.
I do get to say.
You ain't Thunder.
I ain't Thunder, but I'm the oldest now. Let me handle this. Do you hear me? I said, do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Promise me you'll let me handle this business.
Promising.
Promise me you'll let me handle this business.
All right, man, I promise.
You can't do this. It's already done. I ain't got nothing to live
You got
for.
everything to lose. Your life,
My life? You want to talk about my life? Scraping and struggling to get by? Always looking over my shoulder? Living in the rental shack in East Cleveland? When I aged out, they gave me a handshake and a slap on the ass. I ain't even no high school graduate. What you thought? I ain't got no white parents breaking me off change. I done scraped and struggled to get everything I got. I'm tired. I'm so tired, man. The foster care, the group homes, I'm done. They killed my brother. Our brother. They will be dealt with.
Man, I don't even know what to say to that.
Man, ain't nothing left to say. I need a smoke.
man, he's in trouble.
Quan is fine.
He's planning to murder somebody. He's not fine.
It's just what it is.
I'm so over these clever little phrases. That's just what it is. James, what does that even mean?
He's gonna be all right.
He's about to throw his life away.
Them dudes killed Thunder.
This isn't the way, and you know it.
Hell, I happen to agree with the man.
This still isn't
Them
the
dudes gotta
way.
pay.
You know how this ends.
Yeah, they gotta pay.
But at what price? At what price? We got one brother in a box. Our mother is killing herself one rock at a time. I've never met my father. Your father's in prison, and Jaquan's about to throw his life down a sewer drain. Don't tell me you agree with that, because I know you don't.
We supposed to just let it ride? Huh? What if they know? What if they saw him, huh? What you think they're gonna do if they think he knows?
This still isn't the way, James.
What do you want from me?
I want you to talk to him.
Talk to him and say what?
Say whatever you gotta do to get that gun out of
I'm
his
not
hand.
his damn daddy.
Don't be his daddy, be his brother.
Blood that been shed, all right? Thunder is dead. He not gonna listen to me.
But you are close to him. A lot closer than me.
I'm sitting here deciding whether I want to join the man or not. What the hell am I supposed to say? Look both ways when you cross the street, eat your vegetables? Huh? I'm 10 minutes off the block my damn self, man. I'm fighting the urge to go in there and stick shive in their
James,
ear.
he'll listen to you.
The only dude that he will listen to is lying over there in that box. Okay, anything short of that, I don't know what to tell you.
Fine. Fine. Just keep your suit nice and pressed for when we gotta bury Daquan next week.
Man, I can't control none of that, man. That's all I can do to keep myself together.
I thought we was family, James. Blood. Supposed to look out for one another. What happened to that?
I got love for my brother.
Prove it.
I ain't gotta prove anything. I got love for him just like I got love for your stinking ass.
Do you do right by him?
Oh.
Come on, James. Don't say you got love, man. Do you do right by
Stop
him?
being so damn dramatic. I will talk to him.
You promise?
I said I would.
No time like the present. I think he's under the back awning.
You know, I forgot how damn annoying you can be.
Since I was a little girl, all the men go. One way or another, they come, they make a mess, and then they go. It's the women that gotta stay and clean up the mess, make the house payments, raise the kids. It was like that for my mama. My daddy was like a leaf blowing in the wind. I mean, yeah, he'd come through every now and then, but after a while, he'd just blow away. My uncle got killed on the corner of 79th and Cedar. That was the first time I ever saw my mama cry. My other uncle out there now chases demons from one corner to the next. I used to speak when I seen them, but now, dude just blend into the scenery. They all go, all of them. Sometimes I look at my little brother and wonder, when he grow up, when he become a man, is he gonna leave too? I'm 9 months pregnant, and my dude is gone. And my past is hanging above my head. But I can't stop. I even got time to rest long enough to cry. That's how it is for women. Men do all that talking, and then they go. It's the women that hold it down for real, for real. I loved him, but I can't stop. I got to grind. I got dreams. I ain't gonna be no single mama with a direct card in my hand. I'm already signed up at Tri-Cities Culinary Program. I've been cooking since I was little. Man, I can burn. One of these days, I'm gonna have me a restaurant, and this little boy here ain't gonna be raised around here. And I'm gonna make sure of that. See, where I come from, women don't walk, they rise. Float above knuckleheads, soak ground with tears, light up rooms with smiles, fill bellies with nothing but hope and hustle, hold mouths to breast and bleed love. I ain't a little girl no more, lost my pigtails long time ago. I don't smile like I used to smile. I done seen stuff that no eyes should ever see. But I don't use that as an excuse to lose. I love and live. And get sadness no place within me. Gotta keep it moving. Mind over matter. Gotta see it in my head, my fingers reaching, grabbing for them pictures in my mind. That image of me, Michelle Obama strong, getting my Oprah on. And succeeding, and living, and being, and mothering, and rising. And I dare somebody to get in my damn way, because if they do, I got some for them. Best believe. Is it safe to enter?
Oh. Yeah, the coast is clear.
Funeral home can be a dangerous place.
So I am learning. It's just a disagreement between brothers, that's all.
No, it's cool. Quan always pissed about something.
Look, Daquan's in a bad way.
He don't like me very much.
Yeah, I'm getting that.
He got issues.
Yeah. Oh, my name's Marcus. It's
I
not...
know who you is, fool. Dr. talked about you all the time. He was proud of you. We watched you on TV, that game show thing.
Academic Challenge.
Yeah. Dang, it was good, man. He was just a kid.
Thanks. You want to take a seat? You look like you about to pop.
Right. My feet is killing me.
How soon?
2 weeks.
You excited?
Yeah, I am.
Know what you're having?
It's a boy.
Oh, that's good.
Glad you made it.
Thanks. You know, it's almost like I don't belong. I mean, not that me and Devontae were close or anything, but
Let it go. He understood. He loved you. He did. I'm telling you. But I know what you mean. Me and him was on the outs when he died. And all these damn people looking at me like I don't belong here just because some little fight. But anyway, I'm just glad you made it.
Thanks. You know, was it true what you said about him wanting to be a doctor?
Hell no. That ain't dream about being nothing but a hustler. I just said that because I didn't want people to think bad about him, you know?
Well, not that it's any of my business or anything, but why were you guys fighting?
When I told him about the baby, I thought he was gonna be happy. But the first thing he said was, when you go get an abortion? And I was like, I'm not. So then he was like, I ain't ready to be no father. And I told him to get ready, because the baby coming. I was happy, but I wasn't happy because he was sad. So then he was like, I want to focus on making money out here. I ain't got time to worry about no baby or nothing. So I was like, okay, for you, I'll get an abortion. So I asked him, he gonna come to the doctor's with me and get an abortion? He told me, nah, that ain't his thing. He couldn't go to no abortion clinic. He told me to ask my mama it's time to go with me. Anyway, when I got down there, I don't know. I just couldn't go through with it. I mean, I thought I could, but I just couldn't do it. I mean, I ain't religious or nothing. I just couldn't kill my baby. Not for him. So I left, and then I called him. Let me tell you, man, was he mad. Your brother had a hell of a temper. Cussed me out, saying I was trying to trap him. I did it on purpose. That's when I knew I was gonna be raising this baby by myself. I can't believe I chose my senior year to get stupid and get pregnant.
The rain's letting up.
Yeah, it is. Better go see if everybody's ready to go.
Oh, no. You stay. I'll go. Be back in a couple shakes.
Okay, thank you.
Rain slowing down.
Yeah, that's what Marcus just said.
It's hot here.
I know.
You look good.
I know.
Didn't expect to see you here today.
I didn't want to be here. I don't know. Just had to be here.
Man, I guess.
I gotta go to the bathroom. Seems like I gotta go to the bathroom every 10 minutes. The baby and all that.
Shatir.
Yeah.
Is it mine?
Yeah.
Man, don't lie to me.
Why would I lie?
And it can't be Thunders.
The map don't add up. If you want, we can do a DNA test.
No, I don't need all that.
He's yours, but it don't matter none anyway.
Why would you say that?
Because the way you're going, you're not going to live too much longer than Thunder. So why it matter? Either way it go, I'm going to be raising this baby by my damn self. But don't worry, I had to tell him how you were, what you were like. Hustlers to the dirt, right?
I don't even know what to say to you. I got mad love for you, big bro. I do, but I ain't perfect. And you know how these females are, man. That ain't no excuse. I don't even know what happened. Y'all was fighting and y'all was on the outs. I ran into her at Mickey D's and gave her a ride home. That was it. Sorry, man. Sorry I didn't do right by you. Sorry I couldn't be there for you. I know what it is I gotta do. I got a kid on the way, Dad.
Is you crying? Either you crying or you chopping onions in this piece.
Man, go on with that, man. It's hot in here.
Yeah, right, it's hot. Okay.
It's all right, you know.
What?
If you were crying, it's a funeral. I cried.
Man, you was a punk ass.
Oh, a classy guy.
Oh, and don't think I don't know it was you that put James up to that little pep talk.
Hey, I tried, man. Thug Nasty over here ain't buying though.
I don't need you strolling in here from Wonderland telling me how to live my life.
Look, you can't do this. I know that right now it feels like the right thing to do, Daquan, but you can't do it.
Man, this ain't the debate club.
It comes back. I'm telling you it comes back.
It's not that simple.
It is that simple. Walk away.
Walk where? Walk to where, huh?
Now who's the punk ass?
Ooh, ding.
Man, you better go. I ain't even a high school graduate.
Tri-C has a GED program.
Whatever happened to that dream of yours, man? Starting your own spot, opening, be a businessman.
I am a businessman.
A legitimate businessman.
Man, everybody don't shine like a star. I'm not a football star like you, James, or Mr. Academic Challenge. Some of us got to scrape by just to survive.
It's just an excuse. You're a coward.
You want to go back to Solon with a busted lip? You can go straight to hell. Man, what I'm supposed to do, just go down to Tri-C and sign up for a class?
Why not?
Shut up.
I'm just saying, man. Maybe the kid is right. Maybe it's not the move.
So, you just expect me to go down there? I ain't never been no genius. No plan, just a pocket full of hope, huh?
Sometimes hope. Sometimes hope is enough.
Yes, brother.
Oh, man. Yeah. The kid is right, man. I mean, I know you ain't all that with the books, but you the smartest dude I know. You hustle harder than anybody.
Man, I wouldn't even know where to start.
Look, just start by at least thinking about it.
Man, I'm tired of thinking.
Look, Daquan, we're trying to help. You know what? No more speeches. If your brother laying in a box doesn't make you reconsider your vocational choices, I don't know what will. You know what? And another thing, man, because I'm getting...
Give it to me.
Oh. No.
Give it to me.
Why should I?
Man, if you don't give me that gun, I'll take it.
What you gonna do, Sweet Pea? Write me a poem?
Give me the damn gun.
No. Man, give me...
Hey, what y'all doing, man? Come on, man. Stop. Hey,
All right, cool. Stop doing that. What you doing? Your brother is laying dead in a box, and we're the only family we got. The only family. We didn't have a choice at what happened to us. We didn't have a choice of the family we had. We didn't have a choice of the mother we had. We didn't have a choice of being fed to the foster care system, and we didn't have a choice of any of it.
Hey, man, chill.
Thunder is gone, and you on the same road. But you can choose. You can write the end of the story. You can choose to go after those guys. Or you can choose to be something else. But it's your choice. It's your choice.
Let's go, man. I don't even know what I'm doing. It's all moving like a freight train. I'm about to be somebody's father. Wish you was here, man. I wish I could talk to you. Know what I gotta do. But I don't even know.
Everybody's waiting. Are you ready?
Yeah, man. I'm ready.
Yeah, what's going on? Man, chilling. Is that a new suit?
No, it's the same suit. It's my Sunday suit. Hey, how's Ohio State?
Man, how you think it is? You see me playing yet?
Yeah, special teams. Man, that don't count.
Man, Coach talking about next year gonna be my year.
It better be.
Hey, oh, they about to start. It's 50.
Oh, cool. Man, don't act like the Daquan going nowhere. I mean, just saying.
The Bible says that there comes a time when one must put away childish things.
Amen.
There comes a time when a child must become an adult and grow and learn. Many of us, for years, has tried to figure out who we really are, but sadly, many of us never do. If we fail to define ourselves, we risk letting others define us by our race, our gender, and our background. We buy into labels that put us in a box. But if we never think about it, we never realize our greatest potential. But I am happy to say that that does not apply to the great and wonderful students that are about to salute today. Now, for our first graduate of the Tri-C General Equivalency, I would like to call Daquan Anderson.
I'd like to give a shout out to my moms and my brother Marcus, my brother James. You know, couldn't do it without you.
Anderson, you do not give speeches at a commencement.
Oh, my bad, Dean. I'm sorry.
It's all right, boy. You still got it, baby. You still got it, baby. My brother, man. Everybody clap for my brother, man. He made it. Yeah, man. Woo! That's what I'm talking about, man. I know I'm probably about to get in trouble walking on the stage, but I can't help it, man. Did it, man.
Do you know where you're going to? Do you like the dreams that life is showing you? Where are you going through? Do you know? Do you get where you're going? Behind there is no open door. Where are you open for? Do you know what seems still and still?
Thank you. Can we give them another round of applause? That was an amazing performance. Terrence Spivey as the director, Michael Oatman, the writer of this original performance. Terrence was joined by Martin Priest, who is also one of the actors. And this is the second time I've seen this, and each time I've really taken away something else from the show. We want to also acknowledge the actors here. We had Kyle Carthens, and your program lists the background of our actors. We had a couple of replacements. So Lachelle Gray was supposed to be played by, who's playing Shatira, was replaced, and I'm sorry, I'm looking for the name. Caitlin Appleby played Shatira, and Anthony Williams played Deshant, and we had Martin Perez playing Marcus, and Kyle Carthens playing James. So again, if we could give them a round of applause. Great job. I also wanted to acknowledge we have teenagers here from the Teen Advisory Group, the Cuyahoga County Teen Advisory Group, and I don't know if you guys can stand up if they're here. They've helped greet people and usher folks. Thank you. These young people are what really keep us grounded, and we really appreciate you guys coming here and helping us do this event tonight. You know, we are going to go right into our play instead of, we're not going to take, I'm sorry, right into our panel rather than take an intermission. But before, I also, you know, I should also thank the tech guys. I know we had a huge crew here help make this possible, so actually can we thank you guys and all your team. I'd like to invite our panelists to please, all of you come up. We've asked these panelists to join us. These are a number of really dedicated leaders who are going to share with us some of their perspectives and expertise and get us started. But really the idea here is for us to, I mean, there are a lot of themes that this show touches on in terms of not just the foster care system, but sibling relationships, how to build connections. So we'd like to open it up and have you all engage with us and help us think about ways to build connections. But before that, I'm going to ask our panelists to say just a few words. So if you don't mind all just coming up and joining us, and I'll introduce them in just a moment. We're going to have I have two child welfare volunteers who are going to be in the audience. I'll introduce them in a moment, and they'll take your questions. They've got some mics. And your programs have more lengthy sort of biographies of each of our panelists, but so I'll do some brief interviews. And I just wanted to say, just actually take one quick moment, because we're here on Kids and Families and with a focus on Cuyahoga County, but obviously we're thinking about all our kids in our communities. But we lost a great advocate in our community yesterday, Judge Peter Sikora. And so I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge his leadership in this county and with the bench here. And we know that our thoughts are with the folks at the juvenile court and his family and friends. So moving on though with our panel, what I've asked is what I'll do is introduce each of our panelists. I've asked them to just share a few thoughts, and we'll go through, we'll start with Dr. David Crampton. David's an associate professor of social work from MSAS here at Case. His research focuses on community and family-based welfare programs. He's very active in the community and recently chaired the county's Division of Children and Family Services Practice and Review Improvement Panel. Successfully steering a very challenging and kind of critical process that led to an important set of change recommendations. So I've asked David if he would start us off really by sharing with us what some of the research says about why kids aging out of foster care is such an important issue. We certainly see it in the show, but if you could talk with us a bit about why we care, why this is such an issue for our country and community.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all for coming tonight. We really appreciate your attention to this issue. For those of us who work in child welfare, this is certainly a big source of challenge, but also opportunity. And really what you need to see across this panel in this event is that while we ask the Cuyahoga County Division of Child and Family Services to take responsibility for investigating child abuse when we see it, and taking action when necessary in placing children in foster care, and when they take permanent custody, finding them homes, the reality is they cannot do that alone. And so it becomes very important that we develop partnerships with them and across our community to improve outcomes for children. So Gabrielle asked me to talk a little bit about why is this an important issue. One of the fun parts about my job is that I teach social work students about child and family policy. And in that course, I start out by asking the students, I want you to think about a policy in your social work practice that's really stupid, counterproductive, evil, otherwise doesn't work. And then they spend that semester trying to figure out how to improve social work practice and policy. And I've been teaching this class for about 10 years, and one of the things that's interesting about it is over time I get to see what do social workers on the ground see as really problematic areas of practice. And over the last couple of years, I've always had a group of students who said, we want to work on the issue of kids aging out of foster care. We're seeing a lot of things that aren't working, and we want to make them work better. And in fact, Lisa was in my class in the fall and did a project in this area. So I've read all her papers, and I know she's a real expert on this issue. Why do students pick this issue? Well, we talk about the policy window opening. We talk about opportunities when public policy needs to change what's going on. And so very briefly, I just want to mention a couple of things. One, the nature of adolescence in our country has really changed, right? We saw this with the Affordable Care Act, and President Obama's effort to say children should remain on their parents' health insurance until they're 26. So what does it mean to be in a country where some of us want our kids to be connected to us to the age of 26, but if you're 18, you're somehow cut off, right? That's not going to work. If we live in a society where kids need longer times to finish college, to finish Tri-C, they need that support, we need to develop a system across our community for providing long-term care for these children. So that's one of the reasons for the change. The other reason, as a researcher, I would like to think that research had something to do with this. And in the early days of foster care research, we spent a lot of time analyzing young children in foster care. And that was because the majority of kids who come into foster care are very young children. But over time, we realized there was a different subset of kids in foster care. Kids who, for the most part, enter as older children, and many of those children end up aging out. And when we did studies as to what happened to those children, unfortunately we discovered the outcomes were not good. That a lot of those children end up homeless, they end up in the criminal justice system, they end up becoming parents before they should, they end up not completing the education that they need. So based on what's changed in our society, what happens with those kids, we really feel like we need to change public policy and really move from policies that emphasize independent living and getting an 18-year-old to the point where they can live independently. And now we're really talking about family connections. So our policies, our efforts are focused on developing long-term connections for kids. And the grant that we got here, Partners Forever Families, is a collaboration between Case Western Reserve University, the partners here up on the stage, and of course the Division of Child and Family Services. And I just want to end by saying this is a huge problem, as you just saw in this play. But it's certainly something that we can take on if we work together. And I want to give a special shout out to my colleague Kate Lodge, who took a federal grant. These federal grants are really difficult to get. And she said, let's take some of your taxpayer money and commission a play so that we can educate people about this problem. And that's the kind of creative, out-of-the-box thinking that we need to do. We need to figure out how to get this message out, work together. And so I commend this project, I commend Karamu House and my own university for all working together on this problem.
Thanks, David. We'll come back to some of these themes, but I'd like to move now to Lisa Peterka, who is a senior supervisor at the Division of Children and Family Services, and she's worked there for nearly 20 years, but she's also one of these MSAS Child Welfare Fellows that we mentioned earlier, and this is featured in your program. There's more information about that. Lisa's been a leader for permanency at the county, really promoting permanency for older youth who get stuck in care. And she was just selected by her peers during Social Work Month as the quote-unquote biggest champion for young youth permanence. So we're grateful to have her here to share a county perspective. And I wonder if, Lisa, just given the themes that from the play and what we saw there, as well as what David just talked about in terms of social issues, could you share just a couple of the key strategies that the county, how the county approaches addressing these problems?
Sure. Within the county, I mean, when you're talking about permanency, there's really no one strategy or linear path to achieve permanency for our children. Each of our children is unique, and they need to have a unique solution to reach their own permanency. Over the last several years, the county has really significantly reduced the number of children who've been waiting to be adopted. And we've done that through a number of different initiatives. One of them is child-centered recruitment, our collaboration with our community partners. We have our teen advisory group, as was mentioned earlier. Something that we tried last year was partnering with Casey Family Programs to do permanency roundtables for some of our youth who've been stuck in care and who were in danger of aging out. And all of these initiatives have contributed to vastly reducing our numbers of youth who are waiting to be adopted. We have a long way to go. We've just really gotten started in this work. But I can say that there's definitely been a very deliberate and concentrated effort to focus our priority on permanency for children. Historically, in child welfare, there's a lot of urgency around safety issues. And I've seen a big commitment in our agency to have some urgency also around permanency, to try to have that same level of urgency as far as permanency for kids and not just safety. Permanency is just as important, as demonstrated by that very moving play. The county absolutely recognizes the importance of permanency and permanency at any age. You're never too old to have a permanent family. And we're very committed to ensuring that all children that are in our system achieve permanency within the context of a lifelong family relationship.
Okay, thanks, Lisa. We'll come back. I know community engagement's a big part of that, and with that in mind, I wanted to turn to Legine Ray, who's with us. Legine is the executive director of the Fatima Family Center in the Huff community. Legine talks about really, as I understand it, tapping into the talents and treasures right there in your community and sort of wrapping care and services around kids and families. Under Legine's leadership, Fatima was recognized by the Annie E. Casey Foundation as one of the top 5 family centers in the country, and it supports growth through many kind of programs, academic, social. They do trips, college trips for young people. They've done trips with students, trips to Africa to explore their roots and learn about different cultures. So Legine's done a lot of work, certainly in the community and beyond. And I'd like, if we could, to just given your work and personal experience with young people, if you can tell us, what one agency can do when it comes to addressing kids who are aging out of care. How do you approach making permanent connections for those kids?
I think it's more than just one agency. I think it's a community issue. I think that the children belong to families and families belong to communities. And I think that we all are charged to take care of young people. And I hear children that are 18 aging out, going into independent living. I don't know very many people who are independent, including me. So I think this notion of having good relationships with people, family and otherwise, is critical. And I think that as a community, we have to do a better job of supporting our young people in whatever situation they find themselves. We are one of the few agencies that has a unit of social workers actually housed in our building that are the staff of the Department of Children and Family Services. And that was a unique and model approach to working together in partnership to support families. I think the Huff Service Providers, which is a collaboration in the Huff community, has been instrumental in coming up with another unique program, which is the Partners for Forever Family, where they look at identifying mentors in the community, because everybody doesn't have the ability to foster a child, but everybody has the ability to have a relationship with a child. And there are lots of gifts and talents that we can bring to the life of a child, be they 8 or 18 or 28. And what we're calling for is people to step up and say, I want to help. And I want to help by providing educational support, by providing mentoring, providing spiritual support. It's not always economic, but relationships do matter. Helping people navigate, young people navigate into adulthood with a support system, a system that, I tell the young people we work with, sometimes you need somebody standing behind you, sometimes you need somebody standing in front of you, sometimes you need somebody just to walk with you. And I know that in this room there are some people who are willing to do any or all of those things. And that's what we're looking for. I think we have to get beyond thinking this is a public agency problem, because it is not. They really cannot be good parents. We know that from experience. And all of us have the responsibility and opportunity to make a difference in a young person's life. We just need to call on people to stand up and say, I'm willing to give my time, my energy, and my efforts to make a young person successful.
Thank you, Legine. You know, it's a really great transition for Mr. Ash, for Gregory Ash. Gregory Ash is the director of Karamu House, and which is the oldest African-American cultural arts center in the nation, by the way. They're getting ready to celebrate 100 years.
That's right.
That's right, real soon. Greg holds an MBA. He's got a background in the private sector, but he actually headed up the Boys and Girls Club before coming to Karamu House. He's a staff officer of the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary. But perhaps most importantly, the reason why we asked Greg to sit up and talk with us today is he and his wife recently adopted their 10-year-old son, who joins their other 2 adult children. And so, Greg, I'm sure you could talk about a number of the issues raised in the play and the power of the arts in bringing attention to important and compelling social issues. But I wonder if you could start with your, your personal adoption story. What compelled you to adopt and some of the lessons that you've learned along the way?
Sure, be happy to talk about that. But first, I want to acknowledge the folks here, you all for being here, the university for putting this on. Kate Lodge, she's been really busy in the background, making more opportunities for this play to be seen. And I think that's the key. I think what we're trying to do here is raise awareness. When you heard those statistics, how many children are in care and how many children age out of the system each month. Those are startling statistics. And I think all of us would be moved to action if we really understood how the depth of the problem and how important it is for all of us to play some role. And I think Legine said that best. In my own situation, I've been very fortunate. My wife and I have 2 adult children, and they're doing quite well. They're both college graduates, and they're off doing their thing. And we both felt that after being an empty nesters for a while, we felt that there was more that we could do to help young people. I don't know that we set out to adopt initially, but we wanted to get involved and we wanted to help. And we signed up for classes through Cuyahoga County, and we were thinking about being foster parents, and we wanted to learn more about it. And one thing led to another, and an opportunity presented itself. And long story short, we were able to first foster a young man, 10 years old, and he's becoming a young man now. He was a child then at 10 years old. He's 13 now and doing quite well. I have to take umbrage because he's being raised in Solon. That's where they stole that. And it is a diverse community. So, and he spends his share of time at Karamu House as well. So there's plenty of balance there. But what you saw in that play was outcomes. Outcomes if young people do not have the kind of support and guidance that, as Legine said, we all need. No man is an island. No man or woman is an island. None of us got to where we are today without good advice, support, help of various kind, the educational system, the public systems. It takes a community for an individual to be successful. And all of us can look back over our lives and recognize a teacher or a coach or a parent or some other family member that gave us an opportunity. And that's really what we're talking about here. Giving a young person an opportunity, giving a young person that might be trapped in some difficult circumstances through no fault of their own. Our own young son was from some very challenging circumstances, not unlike what we saw in the play. So that's very true to life. I mean, there was violence, there was drugs that this young person has witnessed. So all of that codes a person and can set you up for problems in the future if you don't have someone that can guide you and show you some alternatives. So I could go on, and I'll chime in when it's appropriate. but I'll just say this. You get as much or more out of a situation when you extend a hand to a young person than you give by a long shot. And there's nothing like seeing that young person blossom and become successful. Our young person came out of a situation where they were in a single classroom for troubled children, and he is now a 3.25 student in Solon. And there was a big gap there. So with the right encouragement, a young person can succeed. And what was really amazing in watching his development, and as we watch his development, is the coping mechanism. The young people in foster care develop tremendous coping mechanisms because they're not in control. So they have to be able to adapt to the situation as it unfolds. And so I've been really in awe. And I think we ought to recognize all the young people that are here today and recognize that they have challenges that maybe we didn't have when we were growing up, because things are changing and changing fast. So I'll stop there, but I'll be happy to answer any questions that any of you might have. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. We have, I know, many personal stories, not just up here, but in the room, so we want to make sure we have some time for that. I'd like to move to Melinda Sykes, who's the Director of Children's Initiatives at the Ohio Attorney General's Office. In this role, Melinda coordinates a number of significant policy efforts, including co-chairing the Juvenile Justice Subcommittee of the Mental Health and Courts Task Force, facilitating the AG's Human Trafficking Commission, and organizing the AG's foster care town hall meetings that have been going on around the state, including recently here in Cleveland. Melinda holds a JD from that other great university, we'll say it, The Ohio State University. But it's her own experience as a former foster child and eventually as an adopted teenager that also brings these issues especially close to home. So looking at the personal story from another perspective, could you share with us a bit about your experience as a young teenager trying to balance both the desire for independence but also the need for connections and permanency? Thanks.
Absolutely, thanks, Gabriella. My journey through foster care led me to that permanent connection that really did change my life. I went into foster care when I was 13 years old. Like many of you, had kind of a rougher background. My childhood was very chaotic. I was the oldest of 5 children. I'm the only one who went into care. And some of what I struggled with in foster care was, first of all, just fighting the system and trying to advocate for myself and say, you know, I really don't think that going home really is in my best interest. And I was lucky in Licking County that we had a judge who was very open to me advocating for myself, very willing to listen to what I had to say and take into account my personal views. So that was kind of my first hurdle. Luckily, my foster parent was a social worker, and now my mother. So that was kind of a lucky draw for me, I guess. But one of the big things that I had to work on in foster care was this issue of creating boundaries with my biological family. I like to tell people, when you're getting a foster child or when you're adopting from the foster care system, you're not getting a clean slate. And I think that you should respect what the foster child already brings. It doesn't have to be an and or situation. The more adults that are loving that child and that child's life, the better their life will be, and I think the more support they'll have. I'm not really worried about too many parents. I'm more so worried about there being no permanent connections and this aging out without feeling like you're kind of floating around without any kind of personal boundaries. And I just want to say that this developing healthy boundaries with your family, it's a lifelong process. It's something I still deal with, so I don't know that it's something that ended when I was adopted. I would say one thing I noticed, I was adopted very soon close to my 18th birthday. And I will notice one thing that I noticed about myself was that that independence process actually took a lot longer for me. I initially went to Miami University, which was about 3 hours from my house, and I found pretty quickly that that was too far for me. I wasn't quite ready to leave that comfort and security that I had created. So it's been an interesting growth. And I was lucky enough when Attorney General Mike DeWine came into office and he asked me to head up his children's initiatives, I was lucky enough to be able to take that personal passion that I have and translate that into my professional career. So I'm very lucky. We've been doing the safety summits, as Gabriella mentioned, around the state. We actually just had one in Dayton this morning. And we've been learning a lot of valuable things. Our goal in these is to get input from key stakeholders, including foster children, former foster children, foster parents, biological parents, and those in the child welfare system, to really talk about how do we, A, put child safety first, and secondarily, make permanence a priority so we don't have these youth aging out with no permanent connections. So some of what I've been learning from that is that I really think that every child needs a permanent connection and unconditional love. Actually, when we were in Cleveland, it broke my heart, but one of the kids stood up who was a former foster youth and said he never felt like he was a part of a family. And that child was aged out of the system, grew up in the system, and just pushing those healthy boundaries like any 13, 14, 15-year-old would do would instantly have him kicked to a new foster home. And I think that really is a tragedy. We've been hearing from some of the judges that there's a hesitance to permanently terminate those biological rights with the older youth because they think that they're going to create this aging out issue with no permanent connections. But one of the things I say to that is, my issue is a lot of times, and also people are saying that they're going to go back to their biological families anyways, so what's the point? Well, here's the point. You need someone that you can trust to have your best interest at heart, and you trust their judgment to help you navigate that relationship with your biological families and to help you grow as you grow older. And my last thought is, one of the things I hear constantly from foster children in these summits is they want to feel normal. They want to be able to drive a car and sleep over at a friend's house and, just look like their parents. I mean, I think unless you're a foster youth, it's very hard to understand the stigma that comes with being a foster child. I used to feel that stigma a lot in explaining why the blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl was living with the short, dark-haired Jewish lady. So it really is just something that I think we need to focus on, and I think that these kids absolutely deserve our very best. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much. We're going to wrap up with Greg Kapkar, who's the Legislative Director at the Public Children's Services Association of Ohio. Greg's been a longtime advocate for children and families and other vulnerable persons throughout his career. His experience includes direct service work with children and families, legislative and budget advocacy, policy development, and while he now lives in Columbus, Greg actually hails from this area. He's originally from Cleveland, used to work at the Berea Children's Home, and he has the enviable task of connecting all of these issues to the kind of larger policy discussion in under 5 minutes. So I've asked Greg if he could just touch on some of the key policy issues, and we've heard some already with our other panelists that impact older kids in foster care, and maybe some of the themes that were touched on in the show.
Great. Thanks, Gabriella. It is kind of like a homecoming for me, especially since I was telling folks when I first got here that I actually attended Case Western Reserve University, and although it was only for a month before I took a year off, and 2 universities later, I did finally end up graduating, so I did kind of have this transition, and no, Case was not the first college, but it was the second, and so I, though, fortunately had a family that I could fall back on and take that transition time. And I cannot imagine then or now being 18 or 20 or 23 even, and just being totally independent and said, here's your stuff, go forth and be prosperous. And so we can learn so much from our youth, and I am so glad to see that we are listening to them and addressing policy that they have brought forward. And I have to say that the youth have the attention of policymakers, not only at the federal level, but also at the state level. And just to give you some examples, at the federal level, there's a NIGHTED program. It stands for National Youth in Transition Database. And all states are required to keep data on kids who are aging out of foster care and beyond. And it's collecting data about 17-year-olds before they leave care. And the real challenge for us in child welfare then is in 2 years to follow up again with them at age 19. And you can imagine that sometimes it's hard to then find those kids, but this is valuable information that we need. Also at the federal level, we have Fostering Connections to Success Act, which implements a ton of things related to permanency for kids. One of the interesting things is that states now have the option to expand foster care to the age of 21 for kids. Now, David talked about, some things related to that and the poor outcomes that we see when kids actually leave care, homelessness and housing issues and unemployment and all of that. 15 states that have extended foster care to 21, unfortunately, are not seeing good outcomes. All they've done is they've delayed those poor outcomes, so instead of at 18, those youth are experiencing it at 21. We have to revisit that and begin to think about how do we support our youth before they age out of care, things like scattered housing arrangements or fully engaging them in work and education experiences. So I hope that Ohio can learn from the experiences of other states and we can follow their lead and learn from that and implement some really good things here in Ohio. At the state level, our young people, TAG and others, have captured the hearts and minds of people like Director Colbert from the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services. Director Colbert restored $2 million in independent living services in the last budget when those monies were cut from the budget. The legislature heard you and they restored those dollars. The department is also devoting 2 full-time new staff people to independent living to help navigate those waters for kids. I don't know exactly what the position's going to look like, but we know that that's coming and hope to see that in the next few months. There's some other things. Oh, the expansion of Medicaid. The youth were successful in a couple budgets ago to expand Medicaid coverage for youth who graduate out of foster care up to age 21, and I'm happy to say that we just got a briefing from the administration, the governor's office, just last week, that to match federal health care, Ohio's eligibility will be changed and simplified so that foster care alumni can stay on and get medical coverage until age 26 to match health. Yeah, I think that's So I think there are a lot of opportunities, and I would just like to finish with saying, this coming here today reminded me of a youth summit and forums that we helped put together about 5 years ago, and the youth from those summits said, we had forums around the state, and it culminated in a summit at an outdoor education camp, and they told us, we gave them an audience and said, what can we do better? And many of them said, foster care saved my life, but you guys are doing a lot of things wrong. And it was hard for the professionals to hear that. And what we heard were things like, we want to be treated as normal kids. We need to be connected with our siblings, just as we saw in the play today, and help us do that. And at the end of that summit, as a symbolic effort of what they learned from that 2 days, they took a rock and threw it into a pond and said what was the issue, what they learned. And then at the end of that, everybody together said this saying from Robert Kennedy that says, few will have the greatness to bend history itself, but each of us can work to change a small portion of events. And in the total of all those acts will be written the history of this generation. It is from numberless diverse acts of courage and belief that human history is shaped. Each time a person stands up for an ideal or acts to improve the lot of others, or strikes out against injustice, he sends forth a tiny ripple of hope, and crossing each other from a million different centers of energy and daring, those ripples build a current that can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance. So I encourage the youth to continue your activities, because you are making headway in this state and getting to the people you need to that make these policy decisions.
Thank you so much, Greg. We'd like to take a few minutes and invite you to share either observations or questions to our panelists. We have Laura Parks and Lisa Stevens-Kuttner. And they have microphones if anyone wants to stand up, they'll hold a microphone so that you could share a question or observation, and either about what we've heard here or the show that you saw earlier. Yeah? Are there any comments or questions you had of one another? I know it's late. We've got one here. Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for this program. We adopted 30 years ago, and an older child. My question is, 30 years ago, we had the choice of either fostering or adopting, and I understand that has changed now, and a foster parent can adopt, obviously. We heard that. What caused that transition, and has that been the right move?
Thank you.
I would say that, and we've got a ton of foster and adoption experts in the audience, but I think that was one of the, that's a recognition that we needed to change policy, and we created a system where foster parents who have already gone through the process can get a dual license to be adoptive parents as well. And when you look at the statistics, I think it was responding to the fact that 85% of children who are adopted are adopted by their foster parents. So it was kind of an inequity in the system where at that time you had to kind of do it separately. So I like to think of it as an evolution, that we're learning from mistakes and learning from people who are saying, hey, wait a minute, this just doesn't make sense.
So what do you see could be the next big transition for foster children aging out, or foster children even littler?
Well, I think where the discussion is right now is around permanency, and how do we look at those numbers of kids who are aging out of foster care without the connections, and make sure that they've got that connection to a coach or a relative or a friend of the somebody. How do we make sure that we're getting kids into permanent homes before they age out of care? And from our perspective as the statewide association for children's services, one of the things that we're doing this summer is we are holding 4 permanency forums around the state of Ohio in partnership with Casey Family Programs and the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services to get professionals, to get folks like yourself, to get youth all in the same room to look at that very question of how do we do this better? And I don't know if other panelists...
Yeah, I don't know if Legine, if you want to add to that, if you see the next big sort of...
No, I don't want to add to that. I do think, though, that the other issue that we also need to pay attention to is this whole notion of grandparents and giving grandparents more support. I think we don't do a good job of that as well, and also kinship care. I think if we really want to talk about permanency, I think we have to do a better job of identifying those links that can connect people and providing supports for people to be able to do that. The other thing, I said I didn't want to add, the other thing I would say too is that I think that there ought to be ways in which, I know that you screen, I know that you want to make sure that the person that you're connecting the young person to is credible, moral, legal, and all of that. But I think there ought to be opportunities too for folks who don't necessarily want to foster, but who might want to be able to coach and mentor and or have their home available even for respite for families, for foster families that need a break. So I think there are a lot of things we need to explore in connection with young people and get more voices in the room and begin to stop thinking about it's a one-way track or a two-way track. It ought to be 100 tracks, but they all lead to the security of young people.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Are there any other questions or thoughts? I've got one back here. Thanks.
I adopted 22 years ago, and I'm first of all very intrigued by the foster and adopt. I also wanted to know about age requirements. I was looking through the book here about what are the requirements, and so I would be curious about it. Says you have to be at least 21. Is there an upper age requirement, and what other things do you need to look at?
Lisa, do you want to?
I'm sorry.
Well, are you asking what are the requirements for fostering? Is that?
Fostering or adopting.
Or adopting.
You know, very clearly, just like when they here mentioned, things have changed.
Yeah.
What's new, or is there an upper age requirement?
An age limit. Not that I'm aware of, but that is not my area of expertise. To be very honest with you, I would say no, though.
There's not.
Yeah. Yes.
If you want to connect with me afterwards, I'm Holly from Adoption Network, and I can talk you through it.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Any other final thoughts or observations or questions? Yeah, sure. I think we have two, so we'll start with Betsy, and then we'll come over here to this gentleman.
Hi, I'm Betsy with Adoption Network Cleveland, and thank you so much. This was a wonderful opportunity, and I'm glad to see so many people that came out. Just to add to the discussion about trends, there's also a much bigger trend than there was 30 years ago or 22 years ago to provide post-adoption support and to recognize that families are adopting kids that have had a tough start and are probably going to have some issues that might be Parenting Plus, and that there's a lot of supports available to help families be successful after adopting from the foster care system.
So hopefully folks hear that, but a lot more post-adoption support we see. Thanks, Betsy. Yes?
My question actually goes along with qualifications to become a foster parent. I know one of the qualifications is that a family or a person cannot have a felony. And considering that Ohio is the only state with a 5th-degree felony, that eliminates a lot of people from becoming foster parents. Many of these 5th-degree felonies are just minor misdemeanors in every other state. Is there any group or a panel of people that are willing to explore the option of looking into what the felony is as opposed to just excluding or eliminating everyone from the process?
There's actually a rehabilitation clause in the law that allows agencies to license families and individuals after so many years of an offense. And it's graduated, and it's based off of whether it's a misdemeanor or a felony. And when I was at Berea Children's Home and Family Services, which is now Guidestone, I was a foster care recruiter and trainer, and one of the things that I did there, and I licensed probably 3 or 4 families where one of the parents did have an offense. And we just had to go through and document and describe specifically what the incident was and how they rehabilitated themselves.
So it sounds like it's also partly an education issue, but this is a great transition for me to remind folks that in your program there's a call to action, because we are hoping that you all, ways you can make a difference, and if that difference is just simply sharing your name because you want to stay connected, want more information, or if you're really interested in coaching, mentoring, adopting, we invite you to please take this call of action with you. You can fill out the slip and leave it as you leave, or contact us. There's information to contact us later. I'm just going to ask Kate Lodge, if I could, to come and join us here before we all leave. And I'd like to first thank our panelists. Thank you so much for your time. Some of you, driving from Dayton and Columbus, so I hope you get to spend the night here in Cleveland. But Kate has been, as you've heard a number of folks say, she has been the heart and soul behind this whole effort. She's the program manager for the Adoption Opportunities Grant, and her energy and dedication is incredible. You spend just 30 seconds with her, you'll get a feel for it, so I want you to get that 30 seconds or more. Now, Kate, can you come join us?
But I wanted to give a shout out to the youth and a round of applause. The youth participated in focus groups that really helped Michael Oatman, as he's writing his play, inform that helped create the reality that we have. And they're really brave because they share their stories, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about bravery in a second. But to our TAG kids, thank you. Okay, we're almost done tonight. I just want to say a couple more things. There are 626 children in the permanent custody. Maybe I shouldn't even use the microphone. In the permanent custody of Cuyahoga Division of Children and Family Services. In permanent custody, that means that they are available for adoption. In the language of adoption professionals, we call them waiting children. If you Google, if any of you have your Blackberries out, Google waiting children, and many sites will come up, because that's common language for these kids that are waiting for families. The kids upstairs, when you go up, and I hope you will, visit a virtual kind of reality of the kids who are in the Heart Gallery, and then some that have made digital stories of themselves with Adoption Network. They've been able to kind of do a short piece that talks about their strengths, their challenges, and what they're looking for in a family. It's kind of alarming to some of us to think about a teenager, a youth participating in recruiting a family for themselves. They do that in the Heart Gallery. The photographer who volunteers their time, a professional photographer, works with that kid, and that the youth knows why they're there. They know what that's about. They also help write with their worker what they're looking for in a family. So you'll see some of that on the Heart Gallery upstairs, the narrative that comes with that beautiful portrait of those children. So they're brave in having to think about what they want and what they need, that they are even asking. So we are asking that folks take a minute to meet some of our great children that are available. Students here in the audience, we ask, like, what can you do? You're a student at Case Western Reserve. You know, you're not old enough to adopt yet. Oh, actually 21 you are old enough, but as Mr. Ash said, empty nest, I hope that rang a bell. Market segmentation research says the empty nest is a great place to look for families for kids. So that means the students, you can talk to your folks when you go home. You can, you know, recruit them. And possibly your parents have said, we want to do this. And you've said, I don't want to share my room. Well, you know, think about that twice when they say something to you. And faculty, you've worked hard all day. What more can you do? But you too can spread the word, and you can become champions and advocates and also be interested in our children. So for all the adults here, for the youth here, I say let's take a lesson on resiliency from our youth. Let them teach us about resiliency. And then that makes us ask the question, well, if they're waiting, what are we waiting for? So that's kind of the thought I want to leave you with. And I hope you join us upstairs in the Heart Gallery. I know it's a tiring night. You've heard.
There's some food.
And there's food. Food and sweets. Oh, there's good sweets, right? So please join us. And thank you so much for being with us tonight. Appreciate it.